And here we need a space for the seat. And those who are sitting this way, you should turn towards me or go there. Can somebody take away the harmonium? Close that door there. Close that. Yeah. Can I have the Bhagavad Gita? So thank you very much for coming for today's Sunday program. Such a wonderful number. Today I will speak about spirituality with heart. And we will read a verse from the Gita, from the 5th chapter. But because I didn't bring my glasses, I would ask some of you to read that verse. It's 7th verse of the 5th chapter. Oh, this is Croatian Bhagavad Gita. This is Croatian. I need English one. So we have a fair share of space here. There is still some space there and here. If you like, you can move a little bit forward. So that you can come this way. Gentlemen are this way. So open it on 5-7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā vijitātmā jitendriyaḥ sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā kurvann lipyate. So I'll read it and you will help me if I get stuck. Translation. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Is there a child here? If he is speaking, I will not be able to speak. Purport. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. He knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. Because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna. Nor is there a chance that he will engage his senses in matters others than service of the Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics relating to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. A man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. One may ask, why then was Arjuna offensive in battle to others? Wasn't he in Krishna consciousness? Arjuna was only superficially offensive because, as has already been explained in the 2nd chapter, all the assembled persons on the battlefield would continue to live individually, as the soul cannot be slain. So spiritually no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Therefore Arjuna, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out the orders of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in the reactions of work. Yoga-yukto viśuddhātmā, vijitātmā, jitendriyaḥ, sarva-bhūtātma-bhūtātmā, kurvann lipyate. One who works in devotion, who is pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. It is said about Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, who were great teachers in our line of disciplic succession. Dira dira jana priya priya karo, nirmatsaro pujito. So, because they were non-envious, nirmatsara, they were dear to both dhiras and adhiras. Dhira means sober or self-controlled or peaceful, and adhira is a ruffian, is a rude person, somebody who is uncultured. But Goswamis, saintly sages, they actually were dear to everyone. This is because of their Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. This is because they are not envious of anyone. So one quality of a person dear to everyone is that he is non-envious. He is not envious of everyone. Please have a seat. Will you please have a seat? So sometimes people think that if you start spiritual life, you will have to become emotionless. You give up your emotions, you give up your attachment to anyone, you stop loving anyone. But this is not true. If you read our books and if you get to know our devotees, you will see that spiritual life is highly emotional. Like Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, who appeared to spread this movement, he was either laughing or crying. He was full of emotion, expressing his love. He was always full of emotion. Our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, he was so caring. There is one book called Care Personified, and that book describes different anecdotes of his care for devotees. Can you please sit down? So, if you want to have that book, I have it electronically. It's 90 pages of anecdotes, and I can send it to you for free. My email is akrura@gmail.com, akrura@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Gita Coaching, 2 words, Gita Coaching, and I will send it to you. This is a beautiful book that describes how he was so caring about devotees. He was a very powerful spiritual teacher, and he had to speak the truth, and sometimes he had to speak very strongly, and sometimes even he had to chastise his disciples. Sometimes he was like a thunderbolt, and he was like a thunderbolt, very strong, but actually he was very loving and very caring. And this is why this movement is going on, because now you can move forward, ladies, because more ladies are coming. Make space there. So his disciple writes in the Science of Self-Realization Introduction, Mukunda Goswami, he writes that Srila Prabhupada was always loving and caring, and he dedicated his life to helping others. He dedicated his life for the welfare, for the benefit of others. So because he inspired his disciples not only with his knowledge, but also with his care, then this movement is going on. And based on that love, his disciples are continuing to sacrifice their lives to spread this movement for the benefit of the whole world. In your heart, you can have two predominant emotions, either fear or love. And I will tell you a story from the New York underground that actually illustrates this point. Once there was a man whose name was Diaz. He was a social worker, and he would work with young delinquents, and he would speak to them, try to help them get orientation or stop being criminals and things like that. And one night he was coming late back from his office, and when he came out at a station where he's supposed to go out, where his home is, he actually was attacked by one boy with a knife. And the boy said, "Give me all your money. Give me your purse." And he took out the purse peacefully and gave it to him. And then he said that he saw that this boy has only a jacket, and it was winter. New York winter can be very sharp. He said, "I notice you have only a jacket. Don't you have a coat?" He said, "No, I have no money for the coat." He said, you must be actually, the fact that you are forced to steal, to rob people, it means that you actually don't have money. You don't have enough money. You don't have money to buy a coat." So he said, "Can I give you my coat? I have many coats at home, and I can give you this coat." So he offered him a coat, and the boy tried it and said, "It fits me well." So they started talking a little bit, and the boy saw that although he took all the money of this man was very friendly, and he liked him. So they started, and they spoke, and they decided, let's go to the restaurant and to talk more, because here it's cold at the station. You know, in the underground it's not warm. But then Diaz said, "We can go to the restaurant, but you will have to pay because you took all my money." And he said, "Sure, I will pay. Now I have money." He was proud. So they went there, and so Diaz was not afraid of the boy. He knew such boys. He dealt with such boys, and he was very compassionate. He felt compassion for him. He wanted to help him, and he didn't mind even giving him money and his coat. And they started talking, and they became friends. The boy said that this guy actually can give me much more than money. He gives me care and love and support, and even he doesn't mind giving me money. So they developed such a nice relationship that boy gave him back a coat, gave him back money, gave him back everything, but he got a wonderful friend. So Diaz has chosen love over fear. He wasn't afraid of that boy. Everybody would be afraid and blame him and call the police or beat him up or try to beat him up. But actually, Diaz has chosen the path of love. And the boy was just overwhelmed. So they became friends. So similarly in life, you can think of your own life and see how much fear is present in your life. You're afraid for this, you're afraid for that. And then from fear comes anger. You're afraid, then you become angry. Why is this like this? You're always in anxiety. about your family, about yourself. Can you please close the door? Please close the door. And just that fear is predominant in your heart. But you can consciously replace fear with love, because you already have love. You have a power of love in your heart. You have a lot of love in your heart, but you are not using it. And you have allowed fear to overwhelm this area here. So those who are devotees of Krishna, those who are spiritual people or saintly, they actually have almost no fear. Their only fear is to not fall into illusion. Their fear is to not fall into illusion. They are afraid of Maya, or illusory energy. They are afraid of becoming selfish. They are afraid of becoming materialistic. That's their fear. You know, like you love somebody and you risk your life to get them something, or to get to them, something like that. So when you have a lot of love in your heart, then you are not afraid to risk for love, for your children, for your family, for those you love. You will risk your life. That is the symptom of love. Similarly, devotees of Krishna, like Srila Prabhupada, they actually sacrificed and risked their lives for us, so that we can get the benefit of Krishna consciousness. The other day was the appearance day of Lord Nityananda, and Lord Nityananda was also attacked. He was hit. He was, the blood came out of his forehead, and he was attacked by Jagai and Madai, two rascals. But he still continued to offer them Krishna consciousness and to offer them the benefit of the holy name. And he didn't get angry. He tolerated, but he was very determined to give them the benefit, despite the fact that they were ungrateful, they were very nasty, and they were very, very harsh to him. Throughout, in all religions, we have saints and sages who actually have risked their lives, who have sacrificed their lives. We all have heard expression, "I love you." If you read my Facebook, you will see many, many challenges to these three words. I love you. Well, it's easy to say I love you, but I don't see it in your actions. What are you ready to do for a person you love? If you say you love God, what are you ready to do for Him? Are you ready to risk your life? Even for your family, maybe you are not ready to do so much, and you say, I love them, I love them, I love them. So what kind of a lover are you? Are you a stingy lover? Very, how do you say, miserly? Or you love a little bit and give a little love to your family, very little. Or you are a broad-hearted lover. You are not afraid to be hurt. You are not afraid to be wounded. Why so many people close their hearts and don't want to have relationships? Because they were wounded. And they say, nobody will ever enter here because they hurt me. Nobody will ever hurt me. And how do you live from then on? you live in a dark cave. You know that? Completely closed. You hate everybody, you doubt everyone, you're suspicious. Who are you? What do you want? Somebody comes say, I love you. Who are you? What do you want? What is your motive? We don't trust anyone. I would rather die hurt than closed or cold. Because this is hell for a soul, to be closed. And we all have this tendency. As soon as somebody hurt us, you have a divorce, you have something, somebody hurt you, your husband cheats you, then you say, never again. I hate all the males on the planet. But then you see, but I can't live alone. Then you find another one, and because you have a bad karma, he's also a cheater. Because in your past life you have been cheating a lot. Now you get 2 husbands or 2 wives who cheat you. And you are so frustrated. And you are afraid to love. You are afraid to love. So this is hell. I was interviewed on my Facebook by myself. I asked, what is your definition of hell, Akrura? What is your definition of hell? And the answer is, selfishness is hell. Selfishness is hell. You get closed. You don't want to give anymore. This is hell. Everything else, even if they rob you, is better than you don't give anything. You don't want to give anything to anyone. So don't be afraid to love, because this is your original nature. Your original nature as a spirit soul, eternal spirit soul, that you want to love and serve. And without this, your life is empty. What do people do? Like, for example, you play, can't do that, can't bang. You play Wimbledon. I remember years ago, Maria Sharapova won Wimbledon. She beat Serena Williams. And first thing she did when she won, she ran to the, how you call the, where the audience is? No, not no. What? Stands. To the stands, yeah. Where the spectators are, where the audience is. Her father was there, and she ran to him to hug him. So people go to work, people work hard to win the championship so that they can say on the TV, "Hi, Mom." So that whatever you do, there is always somebody you want to give your love to based on that work. And we forget that. We become mechanical workers. We just work, and I have to work, I have to make money, I have to eat, I have to watch TV, I have to go on a bus. And we forget that actually whatever we do is for someone, it's for people. Even when you become a devotee of Krishna, you become like a machine. You're doing service, chanting, eating prasadam, reading, coming to the temple, offering obeisance, put it donation, everything mechanical. And then somebody comes and asks you, why are you doing this? I have no idea. I heard I have to do this, otherwise I go to hell. We always should be personal. We do for someone, something we do for someone. Yesterday, devotees, I gave class, devotees were folding the invitations for Gaur Purnima. It's a very mechanical activity, you just fold, it's simple. You can easily forget what you are doing. But actually, if you think, every invitation can benefit one person so much. They come to the temple for the first time and their spiritual journey starts. You meditate like this, that people will get benefit, people will get in touch with Krishna, and it will be wonderful. So one person is just mechanically doing this and thinking about who knows what, and somebody is meditating on guests coming. There is a story of people who were in the, I forgot how it's in English, quarry, where you crash the stones? Quarry. Okay, so the architect who designed what need to be made, he wanted to see how our workers doing once, and he approached one worker and asked him, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I am suffering here, breaking these stones." Then he went to another worker and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm a member of a team that is building a wonderful cathedral for God." Just imagine, completely same activity and two different visions. So whatever you do, you can do it with your heart, or you can do it like a machine. If you want more satisfaction in your life, then do it with heart. Do it for someone. Do it with love. So spiritual life means we do things with love for Krishna, for God. If you see this altar, you can immediately feel how much love has been invested. Every time I come to London, this altar is more and more beautiful. Now it's even deeper, I think, because this is made like this. This is made a little bit inside. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So much beauty. If you just stand in front of the altar, you will become more beautiful. So this is a beauty studio. So somebody who has love, they actually can make something like this. So beautiful. So whatever you make with love, it will be beautiful. Even if it's not materially perfect. But your consciousness, here it is said, the consciousness of that devotee is very high. He's selfless. He wants to give people Krishna. So your your life can completely transform if you understand the value of pure love. And pure love means unconditional love. I think that the challenge that God is putting before us, for us human beings, is unconditional giving and unconditional love. We all have difficulty with unconditional giving, and we are put into situations where we have to do that. So you try giving unconditionally, and then you slip, and you think, ungrateful brat. I'm doing something for you, and you don't reciprocate. Shame on you. But initially you want to give unconditionally. You know that that's the right thing to do. What does it mean? It means giving without... Can you move forward, boys, so that they can sit? Can you please come in and sit down, because I'm speaking? Please come in and sit down. They will make space for you. So, giving without expecting anything in return. You may say, I tried it, and it's hard. It's so hard. I was giving unconditionally, and nothing happened. What does it mean? It wasn't unconditional, because if you expect that anything happens, it means it wasn't unconditional. You expected a result. You wanted gratitude, you wanted a reward, you wanted this, you wanted that. Then you may say, I was giving unconditionally and they misused it. They misused it. Can you please sit down? Please sit down. So if somebody is misusing your love and your giving, then you are not naive. You will not allow this to do. They're really exploiting you. This you shouldn't allow. This you shouldn't allow. But unconditional giving is something that God wants us to do. And in spiritual life we can see that spiritual teachers, saints and sages throughout the ages, they're just always giving unconditionally. Krishna is always with us in our heart, always waiting. For us, who are conditioned souls, who are very selfish, it's so hard to do that. Just try it and you will see. Just try it with one person. You take person to whom it's not hard for you to give. It's easy because you love them. Try with them and you will see. Your mind will rebel. You said, but I am not getting anything. Why should I do that? Because there is selfishness still, the contamination of selfishness in our heart. And that's hell. This is hellish. Selfishness is the greatest disease, not cancer. Selfishness is the greatest disease that we have. This is our greatest pain. This creates diseases. This creates physical diseases. Selfishness. But when you open up your heart, then also your heart chakra opens, and then miracles happen. One of my friend who works with chakras said, most people, they live either under the navel or above the neck. They are either in their head or in their genitals. But they neglect the heart. But the finest energy is here, because soul is here. Soul is here. And you are neglecting this area. You are neglecting the heart. You want to be a loving person, and then you end up being frustrated. You feel cheated. You feel like a victim. Why? Because you don't give unconditionally. You are doing business. You work, get money. You love your husband and expect him to love you. Yes, it's natural. Love means reciprocation. But we have this challenge that is given to us by God to give without expecting anything in return. Now you will meet thousands of people who are giving like that and who are getting so much in return. I am one of them. Much more than I think I deserve. And if you are not afraid to give, then God will give you so much abundance that you will be able to give much more. He gives you so much abundance. God is not poor. So you shouldn't be afraid of losing something if you become a giver. So in spiritual life, we learn how to give. So we give prasadam, we give Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we give opportunity to serve God, to connect with God. We give support, care for people. Can you please come in and close the door? Please come in and close the door. Otherwise, noises from the corridor, I'll be hearing noises. Can you also come closer, everybody, as much as you can, because more people are coming? Little by little, and create few meters. Here is space also, isn't it? Here you can move forward. So when you love God, He is the supreme whole, then you can easily love all His parts and parcels. By simple technique of loving God, you can love everyone easily, and you can be selfless. You can be selfless. So if you want to become a very powerful lover, you try to love God, the supreme source of everything, source of love, source of pleasure, source of happiness, source of all relationships. Our challenge actually is to become lovers, unconditional lovers. If you become self-centered, that is hell. You want to put yourself in the center. And all conditioned souls are trying to do that. But if you become God-centered and you become a servant of others, you will be happy like this person here. One who works in devotion is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. Isn't that heavenly? Isn't that spiritual? Isn't that wonderful atmosphere when you can love everyone and everyone loves you? At the moment you love some people and you hate some people and you feel very bad. Because this is not natural for us to hate. This is the part of our conditioning, and it's not natural for us to hate. It's hellish. But when your heart is full of love for people, for everyone, for your family and others, then you feel natural. And then you can give, you can serve, you can contribute, you can make a difference. You can find some activity that you like to do, and you can be very happy. Without giving, you cannot be happy, because that is your nature. It is your nature. So many people think that if I get something, I will be happy. Go and get something. There is one book called Become a Go-Giver. Everybody goes and gets something. You go out, make money, get money, enjoy. But imagine, you say, I go out and give something. And see what happens. Be a little bold. See what happens. My recommendation to all of you, don't be afraid to give, because this is God's law. He has created the most powerful law, that is the law of giving. Ask any success teacher on this planet, spiritual or business, they will tell you the most powerful principle is giving. And we are afraid to give. So how can you start giving? Start giving something you don't need. Some people even cannot give that away. Therefore, you have coaches and consultants, clear your clutter, who give you advice how to clear your desk, clear your clutter, how to get rid of the things that you don't need. You have heard about hoarders? Packing, piling up everything because it's cheap. You buy it, you fill your house, and you don't want to give anything away. And you drown, and you go crazy. Then you go to a psychiatrist. So, accumulating things that you will never use. How many of you have clothes in your wardrobes that you never use and you will never use? Be honest. So you can start with that. This that you already know you will not use it, donate it. Donate. Once there was a mendicant, a traveling monk, who was living by begging a little bit from every house, didn't want to harm people. So little bread here, little milk there. And he came to the door of a woman and he said, can you have a piece of bread? She said, I'll ask my husband. She asked her husband, he said, no, you can only give him ashes. They had a fireplace. And she came to the door. She said, my husband says, we can only give you ashes. And he said, okay. And she brought the ashes in a bowl. She said, here, sir, this is your ashes. And she said, but I was wondering, why do you need ashes? He said, I don't need ashes, but I'm teaching you to start giving something. Because you're so stingy, you won't give me a piece of bread. Similarly, Krishna says, Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Oh, Krishna is so poor, he is begging us for one flower, for one leaf, for one fruit. Krishna is starving in Vaikuntha. He has nothing to eat. So Krishna is very strategic and he is the best coach. So he is teaching us, start giving little. So similarly, you look at your pocket. Maybe you can give something to Krishna or to these people that you don't need. Or maybe you need, but you give little, 1 penny or 5 pence. You give something. Start giving that what you don't need. It's not difficult. Then you go a level up. Look at things that are fairly dear to you. Not most dear, fairly dear. And then, okay, to whom I can give them? Of course, you can give to those who are dear to you. It's easier. But that's only middle level. Then you go for things that are very, very dear to you, that you would never give away. and see to whom you can give them. Or you go and give something to somebody you hate. That's hard. But that's possible when you have this vision. Why should you hate anyone? Why shouldn't you give? So it is said in the Bhagavatam that if you give what is most dear to you, to Krishna, you earn eternal life. Now you say, but how can I give? No, it's hard. But actually, it's not hard to give because it's not yours anyway. You have been born naked and you will die dressed, but you cannot bring anything with you to your grave or to your, how do you call this fireplace? Crematory, where you burn, and then your ashes are thrown into Ganges. You can't take anything with you. So in the meantime, you possess some things, but they are not actually yours. They belong to God. So giving is not hard because you are not giving anything that is yours because you don't possess anything anyway. You're just shifting from here to there.
Sorry.
So let's say you're shifting money from your pocket to other person's pocket. Lakshmi. Or your some gifts and things like that. So from that point of view, if you understand that nothing belongs to you, it's not hard to give. But giving is just an expression of your consciousness. It's an expression of your attitude. It's an expression of your mood, expression of your love. You feel very satisfied when you give something to somebody you love. Why do you make a big birthday for your daughter or son? Because you love them. You want to please them. You want to make it special, make pictures. You are always looking for an opportunity to express your love, to give something. But the problem is not with the people you are giving to. The problem is with these guys that you hate, with those that you don't like. This is your challenge. How to start seeing them as part and parcel of God, as your brothers and sisters, as children of God, and start doing something for them too. That's hard. Of course, you might have difficulty with your close ones also, those who are close to you, because they hurt you or they are rude or whatever. So you already started hating them too, And you say, I won't give you anything. I won't talk to you even, like sometimes husband and wife don't talk for 5 years. And then they go to a psychiatrist or a counselor. Imagine you are coming every day to her house and there is a dead silence. You try to speak, how are you doing? Nothing in return. So we are experts in creating hell because we have no knowledge how to be happy. Why some people are more happy than others? The answer is, you will give me many answers to this question, but actually the reason is because they know how, and you don't. This is why you are not happy, because you don't know how. That's the only reason. Everything else falls under that. Now Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th verse of the 2nd chapter, he is showing very high intelligence, and he is showing what is the beginning of success. Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho pahatasva bhava, prijamitvam dharma samudhachita. He says, Krishna, I need help. So can you give up your pride and ask for help? There are so many acharyas who are waiting to help us. There are so many people, but you don't want to ask for help. Arjuna was such a powerful person, so knowledgeable, still he asked for help. So the beginning of success is when you understand that you can't do it on your own. You need help. You need to talk to someone about your success. And then start learning how to be happy. you know, in English language, very common. You tell somebody something, they say, I know. Two most dangerous words in English are, I know. Or three most dangerous words in English language are, I know that. I know that. This is where you are stuck. You think you know a lot. But what is the attitude of wise people? I don't know. They are like children. They know so much, and they say, the more I know, the more I realize that I don't know, and how much I don't know. So they become open to learn. They always become like a child. I want to learn, I want to learn, I want to learn. How to be happy, how to give, how to serve, how to achieve, how to be creative, and so many things we can learn. So that when you go to the beginning of the Gita, you see this. You see Arjuna says, I am submitting myself as a disciple to you. Enough of a friendly relationship. You are my teacher. Please guide me. Please guide me. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to be happy. So if you want to learn the art of love, if you want to learn what is spirituality with heart, find devotees who are happy, find devotees who are giving, who want to give, find devotees who are interested in you, who are interested in your success, in your welfare, who wants to serve you, and associate with them. And then you will become like them. Because with whom you associate, so you become. If you want to become selfless, then you associate with selfless people. And that is the opportunity that we have in this human form of life. To grow our heart, to grow giver's heart, to grow a brave heart, to eradicate all fear from heart, to stop being afraid to give, and to start giving. Start your day with the question, what can I give today? Whom can I serve today? You will see how your day goes. Whenever you feel negative thoughts about anyone, think, how can I benefit them? How can I benefit them? To end my class, I want to tell you an incredible story about Francis of Assisi, which I heard from His Holiness Radha in Ljubljana. I heard it online, I wasn't there, but he spoke there in the Sunday program. He visited Assisi and heard that story there. So once Francis was going with his godbrother, monk also, Leo. They were walking in the rain, and he said, Brother Leo, imagine that all people get converted to our religion. That is not perfect joy. The story is called What is Perfect Joy? That is not perfect joy. Write it down. This is not perfect joy. Imagine that people start listening to us and they start coming in flocks, in crowds to the church. And this is what we want, but that is not perfect joy. And he said a few other things that I don't remember, but all along these lines where he was describing something that is really impressive, something that monks and spiritual people really, really want, something ideal, and always he would say, that is not perfect joy, Brother Leo. That is not perfect joy. And Brother Leo was listening, patiently listening. They were walking in the rain. And then Brother Leo said, so what is perfect joy, for God's sake, when all this is not perfect joy, all these incredible things? What is perfect joy? And he said, imagine, now we are walking in the rain. And we come to the church. And we want to enter, but it's closed. And we go to a house nearby where our godbrother lives, knock on his door. and say, brother, it's so cold, please let us in. We came here to serve God. Please let us in. We are freezing. Please help us. And he doesn't open the door. He says, go away. You are cheaters. You are thieves. I don't want to open. And then we go away from the door. But because we have no place to go, we come back to his door knocking, because there is no houses around. We can't enter the church. And he's our only hope. And we knock again and said, oh brother, please help us. We are devoted. We are God's people. We are serving. We are monks. This time he opens the door. But now he insults them even more. He says, you are rascals. You are thieves. You are idiots. And then he pushes them away in the rain again. And they go away. And they think, what shall we do? Where shall we go? And because there is no other place to go, they come back to his door again and knock and say, brother, please help us. We have nowhere to go. And this time he opens the door and gets a huge stick and starts to beat them and throws them into the mud. And then he says, and then we get up. He goes back to his house, closes, smashes the door. No way they will come in. And then he says, and then we, in that state, then we remember God and we say thank you. That we are still alive and that we can still feel love and we can forgive. We can still serve God. We can still continue and feel devotion. That is perfect joy. Now, one friend explained that these Christian mystics, they wanted to destroy their ego by suffering like this and things like that. Of course, we don't do that, but the point in the story is wonderful, that no matter what happens, no matter what difficulty you go through, if you had this connection with God, you will feel joy. And you will feel that it has meaning. You will feel that your heart is in the right place. And you will feel that these difficulties are meant to purify your heart and to make you a saintly person. And when you become a saintly person, you will become happy. Thank you very much. So we have time for one question, and then we can finish. Yeah.
You mentioned is that the most dangerous word in English language is I know that.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you are going for an interview, because sometimes when you follow certain principle, whether it's Bhagavad Gita or whether it's Buddhism or Jainism, you know, the life will stand still. You are not moving anywhere. You have to be practical, okay?
Yeah.
As long as you have to have your devotion towards Lord or Lord Krishna. So, if in an interview, you have to show up. You have to say that I know everything.
In an interview, it's okay.
Yes.
Technical knowledge showing that you have a skill, that's not my point. My point is about how to be happy, how to be wise. These very deep things about life, very fundamental things. But technical knowledge, of course, you will say that you know how to do it, and you can show it immediately. You should do it. You're not shy and say, oh, I'm humble, I don't know anything, and they say you go get a job. That's foolishness. No, you convince them, you tell them I can do anything, what do you need? They say, oh, really? Okay, so we'll get a job.
Sometimes you find that you're loving and you're loving and loving, and then you think, I'm not, there is no, and it comes to a point like it's empty. I have nothing more to give. And sometimes we need a balance. Somewhere we are receiving, so then we can give. How do we have that flow of energy where we are receiving so we can give?
You receive from Krishna and from people who love you, and then you can give love. You can give love to those who are needy, who are not able to give so much. Then you give them love. But you also receive from Krishna, in your heart, from the scriptures, from reading, chanting, connecting with Krishna, from Krishna's pure devotees. They give love a lot, but we don't know how to receive it. And also on this planet, also there is people who love you, and then you could speak with them. They support you. So it's a chain of distributing love. Is that practical? Is possible? If you have difficulties, you can contact me. Okay, last question then. Hare Krishna. Yeah. That's a good point. I forgot to mention that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains charity in tamoguna, charity in rajoguna, and charity in sattvaguna. So we should learn how to give in the mode of goodness and intelligent giving. If you give money to a person who wants to take intoxication, they will immediately go and buy alcohol. So usually to homeless people or whoever approaches me for change, I give food. They say, I'm hungry. I say, okay, here is food. Then they say no. Because they want to buy cigarettes or alcohol. So you make sure what you give benefits them and not destroys them. A very good point. I should have mentioned that. Krishna is teaching us how to give. But I recommend that you practice giving without expecting anything in return. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Grace Akrura Prabhu ki. So, if anyone's further interested in associating with Akrura Prabhu, there will be a questions and answers session from 6:15 upstairs in the seminar room. So anyone who's interested is encouraged to go upstairs. It's 2 flights of stairs up. Okay, so now is the time for the prasadam feast. But before that, if we could show our appreciation for Akrura Prabhu with 3 very loud Haribols. Haribo! 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 Akrura Prabhu ki. At this point, we usually ask if there are any newcomers to the temple. Anyone who is here for the first time? Okay, what's your name, Prabhu?
Stefan.
Stafford?
Stefan.
Oh, Stefan. Where are you from?
Italy.
Italy? And how did you hear about the temple?
My friend took me.
And, where are you from?
I'm from Sweden.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Nice to meet you, Daniel. How did you hear about the temple?
I was heard about it before because I was going to a vacation for London for 5 days, and I was reading about it on the internet. So I go there, and I was always going to the town today. And my dad and I was planning to go here.
Great. Well, thank you for coming. Who else was here for the first time?
My name is Amol from India.
Uh-huh.
I know it from the childhood. Just that here I am.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming also.